Hi, everybody. It's me, Mrs. Salazar, and I want to talk to you about domain and range, okay? So, first of all, what is domain? Domain is the set of all x values on a graph, and range is the set of all y values for a graph. Now, a lot of kids get mixed up. The graph, what part is the graph? The graph is not the x line. This is the x line. It's not the y line, sorry. The graph is this part. Let me see. Here. That slanting line, that's the graph here. Okay, so if you watch this graph and if you see there's arrows at the top of it and at the bottom of it, right? There's arrows here, an arrow here, and there's an arrow here. That means it keeps going. So it's going to keep going in this way. So it's going to end up reaching over the x forever, and it's going to reach under the x forever, and it's going to reach up for the y and reach down to the y forever. So the domain is all the areas that this graph will reach over on the x line. So it will reach over here. It will reach over here too. So the domain is all the x numbers that are greater than 0, that are less than 0, and 0. The range is going to be all the y values that are greater than 0, that are less than 0, and that is actually 0, okay? Now let's compare that. That was a line graph or a linear graph. Let's compare that to a quadratic graph or a parabola. So here we have a parabola for y equals x squared, right? And look at this. It has the arrows at the top, yeah, but it just goes up. It does not go down at all. So the domain will be all the x values that this will cover going that way and going this way, so to the right and left. So that'll be all those x values, including 0. But the range is just the y values where the graph goes up. So the range is only going to be 0 and up. So how did I write this? I said the domain is 0. That's your x value. So your domain is x for 0 and all the numbers more than 0 and all the numbers less than 0, right? Or all the positive and negative numbers. And then for the range, it's just going to be y will be the numbers that are at 0 and higher, or y is equal to 0 and all the positive numbers. All right? And let's compare that to a square root function. A square root function starts at 0 right here, because we don't take the square root of negatives. It starts at 0 and it reaches out to the positive side of x. So your domain is going to be x equals 0 and all the numbers more than 0. And your range also will be 0 and all the numbers more than 0. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Thank you. Ask me questions in class.